You just spent $2,000. That is the amount you handed over at a big box retailer for a bright red mower carrying a well-known American brand name. You rolled it into the parking lot. You lift it into your truck. It feels like you finally purchased something built the way things used to be built, the same way your father once bought equipment. Then you open the owner's manual in your driveway. In the fine print, you discover the engine came from China. The deck was pressed in Mexico. Final assembly happened at a facility located 2 states away from the company's original home. The employee who helped you was not dishonest. He simply repeated what was written above the display. The marketing team created that sign. The same red, white, and blue branding has been promoted throughout the lawn care business for the last 15 years, while much of the manufacturing quietly moved overseas. That is the frustration many homeowners face every spring. You wanted an American-made product. You believed that was exactly what you purchased. You paid the premium price. You received the patriotic badge. Yet the machine sitting in your shed depends on the same international supply network as the $40 trimmer parked beside it. Most buyers make the same mistake. They trust a brand their grandfather trusted. They believe the flag displayed on the machine. They rely on a salesperson who says, yes, this one is still made here. Then 3 years pass. The deck corrodes. Replacement parts remain back-ordered for 9 weeks. And the next mowing season looks exactly like the last one. In the next few minutes, we are going to identify which mower manufacturers still build equipment on American soil. We also need to separate this discussion into 2 very different groups, because a walk-behind mower is completely different from a riding mower. The companies that remain in those categories are not necessarily the same. And before this is over, there is one brand favored by professional landscapers when they spend their own money. That company is the reason this discussion exists, but its name will come later. First, consider this question. If John Deere is based in Illinois, why is the lawn tractor purchased from the Orange Home Improvement store almost certainly different from the equipment a farmer purchases from the green dealership nearby? Keep that thought in mind. Let us begin with push mowers, because this is the equipment owned by 9 out of 10 people. Here is the reality many consumers never notice. The phrase "Made in USA" on a push mower is among the most frequently stretched labels in the hardware section. According to rules from the Federal Trade Commission, a product can only use that statement when all or virtually all of it originates domestically. The workaround is a slightly different phrase, "Made in USA with global components." Those additional words change everything. A company can import the engine, import the wheels, import the control cables, attach them to a deck stamped in Ohio, then legally place an American flag on the packaging. So when you see 4 mowers lined up with patriotic symbols on them, 3 of those flags may be serving a purpose far different from what most shoppers assume. The mechanical issue is straightforward. The engine is the most expensive component on a push mower. It is also the part most likely to fail. If that engine originated from a factory 8,000 miles away, every internal component, every gasket, every carburetor jet, every ignition coil must travel through a lengthy supply chain when repairs become necessary. That is why your neighbor's mower has been sitting in the garage since June, while everyone waits for a $12 replacement part. The real way to view the purchase is simple. You are not buying a mower, you're buying a 20-year parts supply system. And many of those systems now begin in another nation. So who is still standing? The first company is Honda. Yes, Honda is a Japanese company. But one detail matters more than the nationality of the brand. The HRX and HRN walk-behind mowers sold throughout the United States are assembled at Honda's facility in Swepsonville, North Carolina. The GCV engine installed on those machines is also produced in Swepsonville on the same campus. That is why replacement parts for those engines can arrive in 2 days instead of taking 2 months. A new HRX will cost roughly $700. That price is about twice what many discount store models sell for, yet the deck is formed from a single piece of Nexite material that can outlast 3 steel decks. Many of these machines have remained in service for 25 years with little more than routine oil changes and a fresh blade each season. The next manufacturer is one that very few people recognize. It is a smaller company known as Country Clipper, located in Corydon, Iowa. Although the company is better known for zero-turn equipment, its walk-behind models are cut, welded, and assembled at the same Iowa facility using American steel. Buyers can choose Kawasaki or Kohler power plants. The Kohler engines, in particular, continue to be produced in Kohler, Wisconsin. Making the wrong purchase affects far more than the mower itself. It becomes 3 weekends next August spent driving from place to place, searching for a replacement component. It becomes a lawn growing beyond ankle height while you wait. It becomes the $70 diagnostic charge from a small engine repair shop for an issue a domestic dealer might have resolved within a single afternoon. Before moving forward, there is one simple step that can prevent problems. When inspecting a mower, lift the engine cover and read the identification plate attached directly to the engine block. Ignore the label attached to the deck. The deck label reveals where assembly occurred. The engine plate reveals where the most expensive component was actually manufactured. Now we move to a completely different category of machine. The central point is straightforward. The riding mower business may be the most confusing section of the entire outdoor power equipment industry. Many homeowners assume the brand displayed on the hood identifies the company that built the tractor. It does not. That misunderstanding can become extremely expensive. A buyer spends between $4,000 and $7,000 on a machine, expected to last 15 years. Then, sometime around the fourth year, the transaxle fails. Only then do they learn that the transaxle, deck, engine, and frame came from 4 separate manufacturers located in 4 different countries. No single dealer wants responsibility for the entire machine. The result is a $4,000 piece of equipment that barely moves and a repair estimate that exceeds the price of replacing it. So, which companies are still manufacturing riding mowers on American soil today? The first option at the lower end of the market is bad boy mowers. These machines are produced in Batesville, Arkansas, at a vertically integrated facility where the company fabricates its own frames, forms its own decks, and performs powder coating internally. A bad boy, ZT Elite, begins at approximately $4,000. The engineering advantage comes from the frame. It uses 1.5-inch tubular steel that is noticeably heavier than many imported alternatives. Because of that strength, the deck experiences less flex when striking a root. Reduced flex means less stress on the spindles. Less spindle movement means fewer cracks at welded joints, which remains the most common failure point on inexpensive zero-turn machines. The second option is Spartan mowers. Production takes place in Batesville, Mississippi. Pricing moves higher, generally ranging from $6,000 to $8,000. The key advantage is the suspended operator platform. Actual coil springs sit beneath the seat. It sounds like a comfort feature, but it also contributes to durability. Every impact that is absorbed before reaching the operator is also prevented from traveling through the frame. Over the life of the machine, an owner may spend 300 hours in the seat. That suspension system helps preserve the structural integrity of the mower through the 10th year and beyond. Both manufacturers use American Kohler engines, or Kawasaki engines. Kawasaki's commercial FX engine line is produced in Maryville, Missouri, a fact that many salespeople rarely mention. The third option is the one most professionals choose. That company is Skag, headquartered in Mayville, Wisconsin. A Skag Cheetah, or Tiger Cat, typically costs between $11,000 and $14,000. For many homeowners, that figure sounds excessive. However, there is a specific mechanical reason professional landscapers continue to buy them. The deck on a Skag machine is constructed from 7-gauge steel. That thickness is approximately 3/16 of an inch. Most homeowner-grade decks are built from 11-gauge or 12-gauge steel, which is less than half as thick. The result is straightforward. The deck resists warping. It avoids cracking around spindle mounting points. It continues delivering consistent cut quality through 1,000 hours of mowing dense, wet grass. Skag manufactures the deck, frame, and chassis in Mayville, Wisconsin. Its dealer network also continues stocking replacement components for equipment produced 20 years ago. Now it is time to answer the question raised earlier. John Deere still manufactures certain lawn tractors in Greenville, Tennessee. However, the machines found at the Orange Home Improvement Store, specifically the entry-level 100 series, are built to a different standard than the units sold through a dedicated John Deere dealership. The retail store version uses a stamped deck, a single-cylinder engine, and a sealed transaxle that cannot be serviced. When that transmission fails in the 5th year, replacement of the entire assembly becomes necessary. The dealership models, including the Tent 25R and X300 series, come with a welded deck, a serviceable transmission, and replacement parts that can still be purchased in 2045. The paint is the same green color. The logo is identical, but the machines themselves are completely different. Now we arrive at the final section. This entire discussion has been building toward prevention and toward the brand many professionals quietly purchase for their own use. That is why it was saved for the end. Walk into an independent landscaping business on a Tuesday morning and examine the trailers parked outside. You are unlikely to see John Deere. You are unlikely to see Toro. The overwhelming majority are carrying Skag equipment, with a smaller number using Exmark. Exmark is manufactured in Beatrice, Nebraska, where decks have been stamped in the same town since 1982. There is one universal step that can help prevent a costly mistake. Before spending any money, contact the nearest independent mower dealer in your area rather than a big box retailer. Ask a single question. Which brand do your commercial customers buy? There's a practical reason this approach works. Commercial operators, the crews cutting 40 lawns each week, have already performed the real-world testing. They purchase machines only when the parts network is efficient. The dealer responds quickly, and the deck survives beyond the 3rd year. The tool required is nothing more than a telephone. The process takes about 5 minutes. The savings can range between $2,000 and $4,000 during the next 10 years because you purchase one mower instead of replacing it with a second one. Let us narrow the choices down. If your property is a quarter-acre flat suburban lot and you mow it yourself, the Honda HRX built in Swepsonville at $700 is the clear choice. If you maintain between 1 and 3 acres and want a zero-turn mower capable of lasting 15 years without punishing your back, then a Bad Boy or Spartan model in the $4,000 to $8,000 range fits the job. If your property covers 3 acres or more, includes slopes, or contains grass that remains wet into June, then the Skag built in Mayville is the only machine discussed here that is likely to keep producing clean mowing lines in 2040. There is one more challenge many buyers encounter. The moment you begin shopping for any of these brands, an independent dealer may quote delivery times that are 2 to 3 weeks away. These manufacturers do not maintain inventory levels comparable to large retail chains. At that point, many people become impatient and return to the orange store. That decision often comes down to waiting versus buying immediately. Choose carefully. The difference between those two choices can determine whether the mower remains reliable for years or becomes another replacement purchase. If this information helped you, share your thoughts and let others know which mower brand has delivered the best long-term performance on your property. Your experience may help someone avoid an expensive mistake and choose the right machine the first time. Please leave your thoughts about this content in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.